Hello, BHS. Hello, drillers. Mr. Adams here. Hope you're having a good evening. I said I would do this in one take, so no matter how bad this is, no matter how many times I screw up, I'm just going to take this one time. So, I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the road to the Constitutional Convention. Of course, this happened because of the perceived failures of the Articles of Confederation, which was created in 1781. And the best way to really understand the Articles of Confederation is to get rid of this idea that the Articles of Confederation created a new nation. Really what you had were 13 different states that acted as independent nations, and the Articles of Confederation were really a league of friendship. And there's evidence to support this idea. The first idea, of course, is that each state got one vote, as if they were their own country. Population didn't make any difference. And the other piece of evidence to support this idea that it was more like 13 countries than one nation is that in order to amend this Constitution, this Article of Confederation, you really needed all 13 states to agree to it, to acquiesce to it. Otherwise, it wasn't seen as a legitimate action. So, as a result of certain events like Shays' Rebellion, the fact that the economy of the different states were suffering because you didn't have a common regulatory body, by 1787 there were calls to revise the Articles of Confederation, which is why we have the Philadelphia Convention that began in May of 1787. Now, the most important thing to remember about this convention, leading up to it at least, is the fact that certain people were not there. Thomas Jefferson, the writer of the Declaration of Independence, was not there. He was our diplomat in Paris at the time. John Adams, who was probably the most well-read and most prolific writer about constitutions, was not there either. He was our first diplomat in England. And so we really had to leave it up to James Madison, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, James Wilson of Pennsylvania. These were the names that were going to populate and really make the difference at the Constitutional Convention. And the most important thing that had to be done in the early days of the organization of the Constitutional Convention was giving it legitimacy. And how do you give legitimacy to a gathering that some saw as spacious, as illegitimate? As Patrick Henry said, he smells a rat up in Philadelphia. And of course, the solution to this comes to us from the greatest problem solver of the founding generation, and that would be James Madison. And what James Madison realized, of course, was that if we could get the most respected man in the new country to come to this meeting, to chair it essentially, to be the chairman of it, to preside over it, then the meeting would have legitimacy, then people would trust what was going on, no matter what the revision of the Articles of Confederation were. And that man, of course, was George Washington. So really the beginning of the Constitutional Convention is important, A, because George Washington is there, and B, because the father of the Constitution, James Madison, has a plan called the Virginia Plan. And we will start off with that tomorrow.